79T 2458 Learning Corp. Little Red Riding Hood. Take one.
40 years of my life is in the wire that's gone. Does that make sense?
Where they say there are Indian people pooping on our beach.
It's a spool of wire. 40 years of my life is in the wire that's gone.
There she is. Hey, good morning. Bon matin à toi aussi. Jean-Simon Le Rose. There's my French for the week. Yeah, dude. Oh man, I'm tired, boss. I'm tired, boss. This is the first time in at least a year where I have no projects. Everything's finished. The audiobook is done. It's been uploaded for Dog Walker. It's doing its final checks. I had to fix the title or cover basically, but that's like a minute of work. I don't really care. Softbone's audiobook is done. That's going to be a little delayed on the release, but that's fine because you can't even upload it until the book's out, which it's going to be August 1st. That book's done. The other book's done. The Red Pill one's done. I have a 2025 follow-up to Praxeology Volume 3. That's coming out in the late fall. The manuscript is done. The word's all done. I just have to go through and do the desktop publishing, but I'm not doing that for like, what month is it now? June? July? Is it July? It's like 3 months. Hold on 1 second. I got a really good joke for you guys. You're going to hear it in a second, but I got to go check something. It's official. It happened. For those guys who are in the Substack or the Patreon, you probably have heard me say the story about the loaf of bread. You guys are tired of hearing about the loaf of bread. I constantly say it. It is a allegory or like a little parable about guys who are finally learning to do their boundaries. Story goes, one time I left a loaf of bread within like 2 inches of the counter, and our one big dog has the ability to jump up, swipe it, and drop it onto the ground. So one day he ate a loaf of bread, which is funny enough. And every time we come home now, go for a dog walk, we come home, what's he do? He runs straight to the kitchen and he checks the counter for a loaf of bread. Now, this is exactly the same as a guy who never enforces his boundaries. The wife just yells at him, bullies him, whatever. And it works. He just doesn't want to fight, so he does whatever she wants. So she knows every time I want to get my way, I just yell at him or cry or whatever it is that they do. Now, that's the loaf of bread. Every time he leaves the bread too close to the corner. Every time the dog comes home, he checks it. He will check it 100 times. And if I slip up once and leave bread too close to the counter, he'll swipe it down. And now it's going to be 200 times because he thinks it's not that there's no bread on the counter. It's that, I just didn't jump high enough. And the same as the girls. You start enforcing your boundaries and guys are like, I don't get it. I'm asserting myself, forcing boundaries, no more nice guy behavior. Why is my wife acting worse? And it's not that she's acting worse. It's just that's how the human brain works. When you first, I should be putting on my glasses if we're going to go in character here. When she first sees you enforcing your boundaries, she doesn't think, oh, wow, he's a man now. Maybe I better just suck his dick. What she's thinking is, that's weird. This usually works. I must not have been trying hard enough. And they act worse for longer, for a while. But if you leave your bread close to the counter every now and again, it emboldens it and make the project take a lot longer than it should. But if you're consistent, you'll notice the wife will start to engage with you more on your terms because she knows the futility of engaging on other terms because it doesn't work. You never leave your bread close to the counter. The reason I mentioned this story is because I bought some Costco buns and they were just close enough to the counter. And I went and checked, and yeah, sure enough, he'd like grabbed a piece, almost pulled the thing down, but it's a Costco size, so it's a bit heavy. So yeah, I did it. There's my embarrassing story for the day. Anyways, let's get through these super chats quickly, and we'll start on the episode. So first we'll do the super chat. It is Can of Rocks 1969. Aw. Money for flowers, read in chat. Oh, thank you very much, sir. Oh, here we go. Money for flowers. Shout out to Ryan for the work he's done on the channel. He's had some comfort and shitty comfort tests to deal with lately, and I'd be a lost little sheep. Here's your flowers. Oh, thank you very much, sir. Dude, P.S. The mids watches are underrated gold. If you're a newbie, you might want to go through them. It's so weird. Like, I finished that series, last year? And the sidebar, I haven't added anything new to the sidebar. I mean, there's very few things to add, but I haven't looked at any of those playlists for like 2 years. And it's just crazy to see that, like, do you know 90% of the views in this channel, or at least over half are this. And then the other half is the sidebar and the mids watches. And it just blows my mind. Like, I made an effort to make evergreen content, and it really did go evergreen. So thank God. It just sucks when you guys make a comment on a 2-year-old video asking a question about a specific part in it. And I'm like, dude, I don't know what to tell you. I don't remember. Those have been so long ago. So long ago. Off with the kids for a river walk. Enjoy the pod. Pod be with us all, each and every one. Oh, thank you very much, sir. Well, anyways, Can of Rocks, glad to hear it. If you don't know what he's talking about, there is comfort tests and shitty comfort tests. You're like, what the hell is that? There's 2 types of tests in the red pill, and this is probably very basic bitch stuff if you guys didn't know it, or if you guys have been here for any length of time. I hope it is anyway. A shit test and a comfort test. Think of those in the same framework as alpha and beta. And not in the way that you hear it on the fucking White Claw stuff. It's alpha is sexually desirable qualities, behaviors, and actions. Beta is relationship comfortable actions, traits, behaviors. Athol K's Married Man Sex Life Primer. He goes over through a good list. It's not by no means exhaustive, but it does give you an idea of what to look for when you're doing something, and it has the effect of getting those panties wet. Then, that's an alpha behavior, or it's an alpha. And if you can do something and it's like, girl's not anxious and she calms down, it's beta. It's not that one's bad and one's good. It's just they have their place. And men, generally speaking, have way too much beta, and so it is generally seen as bad. But what it really means is completely uncalibrated. So a comfort test is a girl who is getting alpha, and that translates as anxiety, sex, good stuff. But long term, it's not sustainable. So you have to add a little bit of beta in there. And the idea, the key word there being little bit, which I think is one word. So a comfort test is in the same way a shit test or a fitness test is a way of girls confirming they're sexually desirable, like they're turned on, and it's their way of confirming that. It's a subconscious thing. It's like instinctive. It doesn't really matter. So in the same way that shit tests are made for alpha, this is one for beta. I need comfort from you, blah, blah, blah. If you've ever had a girl crying in your bed, asking why you haven't said you loved her or anything like that, like, you know them. So a comfort test is that. A shitty comfort test is one where a girl is unable to articulate her own needs. And so she responds the need for comfort with like bratty behavior. Think of the same way kids have shitty parents and a kid wants dad's attention or mom's attention and they don't get it. So they start misbehaving, and then now dad's angry and mom's angry, but they're paying attention. So a shitty comfort test is that, the kid that acts out because dad's not paying attention. A comfort test is one where just, hey, dad, pay attention. And it's funny because knowing the difference is, because that's the one thing, it always gets me on Red Pill, is where a lot of guys hear about this stuff. They hear boundary enforcement. They hear assertive Bill of Rights. They hear nice guy stuff. They hear alpha. They hear beta. The dozens of different concepts and mental models that we have in here. And then they approach it to their wife thinking that their wife is the expert. Oh, she already knows all this stuff. So if I start doing covert. If I break covert contracts, she'll be fine, blah, blah, blah. What guys quickly come to realize is girls are just as retarded as guys are when it comes to sex and relationships. So what do? They have their own covert contracts. They have their own inability to hold frame and all this stuff. And you realize, oh my God, it's just like, that's why the relationship was bad. There was two people that had no idea what the hell they're doing. And a girl's not going to change. There's biological reasons why that's not going to happen. But I mean, even if it was going to happen, why would you want to let her take the lead on this stuff? That kind of defeats the purpose. So that's what he's talking about there. I saw one, Lee Wallace, way up top. Amazon CA has the paperback for Softbone on pre-order. You can pre-order the paperbacks? That's awesome. Is there a reason you went by 5.5 by 8.5 instead of sticking with the 5.8? That was a mistake. That has been fixed. And now you got me all worried. So I got to check it. Oh, for fuck's sakes. Oh, right, because... All right, yeah, it's got the new cover. And where's the stupid book size? For the love of... Oh, that's why. Yeah, it's weird. It doesn't give me the option to pre-order the paperback at all. Oh, there it is. Oh! Don't get that. Don't get that. What the hell is this doing here? That's an error. I don't know where that came from and why that's there, but that should not be there. Interesting. I feel bad because it's like, are you doing work on the stream? No, I'm not, but I gotta look. Yeah, release scheduled 8x5. All right, so don't touch that one. I will fix that. I don't know why that's there. I'll figure it out. Thank you for bringing that up, though, by the way. That is super exciting. Super exciting news. All right, so I didn't know. They apparently set up when you remove a bad copy of something, they're like, oh, you mean pre-orders? Like, no, I meant get rid of it. Whatever. Anyways, where did I leave off here? Got a bon matin aussi. I see those scenarios in real life all the time. Well, I mean, you should. That's the thing. This is why I have so much disdain for all the red pill guys that you see on YouTube and whatever. It's that they're always working with headcanon. It's always made up stuff. It's like, well, what if this situation and this situation happens? Like, it doesn't. And then they pull that stupid, well, the breakfast test. It's like, no, it's not whether I had breakfast this morning. It does not happen that way. You're arguing about an abstraction. It makes no sense. The things that's different about my work is I always base it on things that guys reported actually having happened. So while it may not be the most entertaining, it may not be the most outrage-inducing, at the very least, somebody out there has had this situation happen to them, which means somebody else will have something very similar happening to them. It was one of my favorite things on Mids Watches when you'd watch the comments, and there'd be like 100 comments, but there's always one from a different guy going, dude, this was just happening to me this week. And it's like, yeah, of course it is. It's going to happen to everybody. And that's one thing I really do enjoy about it. Damn it, coach. The thumbnail made me want to go fishing, but I'm stuck at work all day. Me too, brother. Me too. Stuck at work. Housing market's going tits up in Tirana, which I'm excited for. Oh, I can't wait. Cottage country is just decimated right now. The condo market is just decimated right now. The housing market is soon to follow. Everybody's expecting 1 to 3 years of pain, of 2008 level pain, and I'm looking forward to it. That's going to be so good. If I'm lucky, I'll pull a Jordan Peterson, get it out. Oh, yeah, that sucks for him. He just sold his place. He finally gave up. Peterson's done with Canada. He's like, I'm out of here. Fuck you guys. Put his place up on the market. I took a look. It's actually not bad. Like, it's a good place. He's asking 2.6 million for it. It's up north. I think it's by York. It's by by Casa Loma, if you guys know Toronto. So it's very old. It's like a 100-year-old building, but he has renovated it to the point where it's just insane. He really did turn it into his own like small fortress of solitude, which good for him. Yeah. Now we're getting back to basics. Superb. I mean, we're always in basics for the most part. I may stray, but I always come back. And let's face it, it's always the same things. covert contracts, boundary enforcement, frame, dread. The red pill has never been a wide thing of research. There's not a lot new under the sun. People only have a certain level of behaviors. The well runs deep though, because that's really the issue. It's like there's 100 concepts, half of them contradict the other half. So everything is situational. And so it's really just about like delving into the situations. You'll find in this case the same behavior done for completely different reasons and have completely different outlooks, which boggles the mind of the autist. Wait a minute. You're saying don't buy flowers, but you're saying to buy flowers. So what do I do? And then you buy flowers and it's like, it didn't work for me. And the other guy's like, oh, it did work for me. So it kind of gets you into the whole, well, what's the difference here? Well, the one difference is the one guy was supplicative. His wife was done with him. She was cheating him on already. Flowers ain't going to fix shit. The other guy, it was just, I was bored, grabbed him at the grocery store, threw him on the thing. Here you go, babe. Went back to my business. Of course it worked. He's busy. He never pays attention. She's worried that he's got an affair going on, which he doesn't, but she doesn't know that. And you know how neuroticism works. And then, at the end of that, absolutely wonderful. So you see what the issue is now? The issue is not like, do I buy my girl flowers? This is why I hate the questions people ask. Do I buy my girl flowers? Do I do this? Do I do that? It's not about that. There's fundamentals in place. Once you get the fundamentals in place, all of this stuff answers itself. It's probably, and I do the workshop still on, I've moved it from Patreon to Substack. So if you're curious about it, come on in. I used to even have like free months. I'm like, I was very confident. Like, oh, dude, you'll stay. Don't worry about that. And then some idiot had to end up, took that and he started pirating the stuff, which I'm like, I don't care about that. But the people inside, like the idea for the users is discretion, right? So I don't talk about shop outside of shop. Nobody's going to be honest. Nobody's going to make any value if all of a sudden they're going to see their personal stuff blasted on the internet. So you have to have some level of security. So yeah, so I don't do those anymore. It's not about the flowers. It's all about the calibration. Yeah, comparing notes. Who would have thought? I mean, it is. It's very simple. But I remember, and I don't know what the, I'd have to look it up. It's been a while. It's one of Rollo's essays. I feel bad because out of like, since he's online, I normally talk about everybody else's stuff. Because I'm like, Rollo can talk about his stuff. But the side effect of that is I don't read it as much as I read the other stuff. So I'm starting to really start to drift when it comes to what the hell did Rollo write again? Damn it. But he had one. And the gist of it was men get together and discuss things. We swap notes. It doesn't matter. Hunting, fishing, mechanics, whatever. The Lloyd's Coffee House. That's why it started. I had like a brief series where it was just like, riffing with people. I called it Lloyd's Coffee House because that was the original red pill space as far as I can tell. If you guys have never heard about it, it's awesome. You know Lloyd's of London, the insurance company? Same thing. What Lloyd's was they finally found coffee and they started bringing it over to Britain. It was a pence for a coffee, something like that. But the thing is, coffee is coffee. It's a commodity. The Queen drinks the same coffee as everybody else. So a coffee house had no class distinction to it. Very stratified society in Britain. But if you were a sheep herder, you could talk to a politician, who could talk to a priest, and whatever. Because everybody was in there. And it's not like booze where there's temperance or any of that crap. Everybody was drinking coffee. It was fine. And what you found is people started doing business in there too. And then you found when the merchants started talking to the farmers, started talking to the aristocrats, started talking to the priests, started talking to royalty, and they're all in the coffee house, people started to get ideas. And you know what came out of that? Scottish Enlightenment. Holy shit. And there's a lot of people online that hate the Enlightenment because, I don't know, they can't find a wife. Essentially, it's what it boils down to. But when you think about it, yeah, they just took a bunch of guys in a bunch of different areas of life. They put them together in a room, gave them a coffee, just let it happen. What is that if that's not red pill? I found the connection just tickled me. Yeah, I said that. Be right back. Coffee kicked in, except for the Mormons. Well, there was no Mormons back then. Mormons came after. Yeah. And I've always liked the concept. Sure, the red pill space was kind of cringe, but in fairness, I actually miss when it was more cringe. I kind of don't like, and this is such a hipster thing to say, I don't like that's become popular. I don't like that the kids are talking about it now because it's completely killed it. we had one gatekeeping method at all to keep out the riffraff. And by riffraff, we mostly mean women and effeminate guys who were male feminist allies. The place was so ornery, so cranky. Nobody wanted to do anything. But it was like nobody wanted to touch it. It's like, I'm not going in there. Look at that crap. It's like, yeah, nobody wants. You don't want in here. You don't want in here. And that kept people out. And so the only people that went in there are the ones who actually needed to go in there, who actually had stuff to do. Man, here, one sec. Oh, there it is. Archived titles. How can I get rid of this book? I don't think they let you get rid of it. Anyways, let's have some fun. I've been sitting here waxing nostalgic and finding major problems for enough. Let's laugh at somebody. It's been a while. Oh, dude. How do I not have time for this fucking guy?
I love the way girls smell. I love how they always make sure, by and large, they shower, and they just have an amazing smell to them in general.
I still can't get over that, man. Sitting there, he's like, I know what I'm going to make my bones with. Everybody's shitting on Rollo Tomassi. I'm going to shit on Rollo Tomassi. He's an idiot, and I'm smart. And then everybody's like, yeah, you are smart. He goes, yeah, I'm smart. Hey, Trump's the new big thing. Let's talk about Trump. Trump, yeah. And everybody's like, yeah, you like Trump? I like Trump. He's like, yeah. Trump's having a thing. They said they stole the election, and he wants to get everybody out. And he's like, you know what? I'm going to go there and help him out. It's like, yeah. He sees a bunch of feds. Hey, guys, who wants some illegal gun parts? And he's like, yeah, we're all doing this together. It's peaceful. Starts smoking, acting like a hick. And then all of a sudden people start kicking in the doors. He's like, yeah, this is great. I'm live streaming the whole thing. You know what? Those guys look exciting. I'm going to pretend like I'm with them. Hey, we just did it. We stormed the Capitol. And then buddy from high school is like, fuck this guy. Turns him in. Gets arrested. The judge looks at this. He goes, dude. And the only reason they snagged him on the charge, if you guys don't know this, here's some great tea from the lore. It's that when he was on one of his live streams, he admitted to when he said like we did it, we kicked in the door and we went in. They're like, oh, so you and the other guys we arrested. And he's like, no, I was just saying that for clout. And the judge is like, I'm not even mad. I'm just disappointed. Why would you do this? I loved that. I really wish I should download the court case. It's like, I don't get it. You got a wife, you got a kid on the way. I think the kid was like just about like born the same time or 6 weeks old or something like that. You got a wife, you got a kid on the way, you got a great job. Why did you do this? What are you thinking? It's just the disappointed dad of the judge. Go to jail 7 years. And then 4 years later, Biden, I think, paroled them or whatever. And now he's out. And now he's like, all right, well, I guess I'm here now. I'm the patriot that sacrificed for the country. He's got to make himself out to be Pat Boone or whoever. I just love that shit. Which, by the way, Pat Stedman won't shut the fuck on X. He's had me blocked for, like, ever since I started calling him on his low IQ stuff. Once he went to jail, dude, he wanted nothing to do with me because he knew. It's like, oh, hey, upstream Twitter, but whatever. Then remember, kid, don't go see Coldplay. Yeah. Oh, back to the whole reason for this entire ramble here. Yeah, when it was the men swapping notes, the Rollo article. It was that's what men do to get together and solve problems, but women tend not to like it because an atomized man is an easier manipulation, an easier guy to manipulate. And it's not that women are sociopathic either. They're not thinking, well, I got to stop this. They just feel it's the case and they act on their feelings. It's literally a instinctive behavior. So this is why you get in most of these arguments. Well, I don't think like that. It's like, yeah, if I were to tell you your instinctive need to do something is this and this and this, and you're like, well, I don't think of it like that. I don't think, well, my instincts say to eat, so I better eat. I just felt like having an ice cream that day. It's like, yeah, that's how instincts work. Instincts don't feel anything. Instincts just do. Your lizard brain and your mammalian brain work out the details afterwards on how you feel about it and what you can articulate it as. This is a strict praxeology. It's observation based, right? Good morning, couch. So if Pat loved the way the women smell, even then they're not so fresh, does he like the way they smell then? Dude, I tried, but you got to workshop that. You got to workshop that. Hey, there's Nuke in the chat too. And then Chisholm, dude, cooking videos. Yeah, dude. I've been hearing a lot of people talking about the cooking videos lately. I think I might. I've been wondering what to do with this channel now that I'm kind of done. Like, everything I've needed to say on the red pill's been said, but I can see. Yeah, I can see the cooking things. And to be fair, I've actually got a recipe I've been playing with, and I think I've got it where I just need a little bit of structure to it. So if you don't know, egg salad sandwiches are actually pretty good if you ever had one. And the way you're supposed to make it is you boil a bunch of eggs, and then you beat them up, chop them up, mush them up, throw a bunch of mayo in it, and then you make that a spread, put some green onions. And for me, I was thinking, well, the way I make scrambled eggs, I do like the Gordon Ramsay one where you just barely get them to set. They almost have like a jello-like consistency. No curds, no burns, nothing. It's like a dip. It's so good. And I was thinking, well, why don't I just do that? Add a little bit of cream cheese instead of sour cream just to get the texture right. Put that in the fridge and then use that for the egg salad sandwich. It actually works not bad. So if I do another cooking video, it's most likely going to be that. Yeah, it's similar to a Japanese egg salad sandwich. The Japanese ones, though, take it to a whole other level. So mine is closer to, it would almost be like a French omelet sandwich. But the Japanese, like when they set up theirs, they use their tamagi, or tamago. I can never pronounce it. They have like mirin and a couple other things. It makes it a little bit sweeter. And they actually put like a boiled egg in the middle of the sandwich. So you have like textures to it. So it's similar, but it's not quite the same. Yeah, I'd workshop it. I mean, nobody's going to watch them. Nobody ever watched them. I mean, maybe it's the biggest thing now, because who knows, but it's on the go. But right now, I'm not thinking about new projects, not taking on new work. Like I said, it is the first time in like a year I have finished all the big projects, and I just want to sit here and get bored and fidgety for a bit, because that would be so nice. There's always this phase where I'd have like one book at the end of the year, and it would, like, I'd start the year and I'd work, and at the end of the year I get the book out, and then I have like 2 or 3 months to do nothing, and then I just kind of phone in content for a while, and then I get fidgety, and then I start doing it up again. But like the last year was just balls to the wall. Like, did 3 books this year, man. That's 3 times as much work as I did the other years. Videos, new channel, tons of new videos there. There's already like 60 videos on the Orion channel. Substack, it's been growing huge amount. I'm almost tempted to split it up again. So I've split up Substack already into 2, where I have the workshop as the one, and then the second one is for all the red pill stuff and all the fiction stuff. It might be worth splitting up fiction and that, but when I talk to you guys about it, you're like, don't worry, I'll filter it. And I'm like, oh, it's fine. So yeah. Between Nuke, Ryan, and myself, we could do a Temu RP Master Chef. Do an Iron Chef. Remember that show? I missed that show, man. Anyways, quick change of topic. We're actually going to get to the topic. But in the meantime, there she is.
Ryan Stone, another
It is just,
Oh my God.
If you're a young man, you need to figure out what you're trying to do with your life, you need to subscribe to this goddamn channel.
What the fuck?
Megan Fox with a dick, or Hulk Hogan with a pussy.
Mel time. It's Mel time.
Why are you doing this to me? Why are you doing this to me?
You see that Waffle House there? There's murderers in there.
You have to conclude that Trump betrayed us.
socially retarded fact.
Seething.
Don't work with retard.
He's a halfway decent looking guy, a nice smile, can be a gentleman, snarky as even in person, yet he blocks me and talks shit about. Somebody find out their fucking real names for me.
How do you not like that guy? How can you not? I knew one of those. Some army officer. I wasn't even sure he was an officer. He was writing a thing on Canadian military doctrine, which, let's get one first. We kind of gutted ours. And it started with him talking about his daughter. My daughter talked about Andrew Tate, and all the boys were talking about it. And they made fun of her. And that's when I realized we men have to be better. And then he had a whole agree about how we need more male feminists in the forces, and he's worried that all these guys love their country. And I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, there's no way this guy's a real officer. So I called him out on it, and dude, he had like a temper tantrum. He brought up the old MOS designations for your trades and not the MOS ID that they've been using for the last 15 years. So I didn't recognize it. So I just called him. I'm like, this is kind of fake shit. That's like an American rank. And then all of a sudden, he and all his old military buddies just had a spurg out on Substack. Don't worry, guys. I've blocked him from reading my stuff. It's all good. It's like, and then he comes on to Twitter, and I guess he commented on like 3 months. Everything I did, he was in there calling me a dipshit, and it was just so funny, man. What, Nuke? I don't think onions and eggs should mix. Oh my god, you have not had a good Chinese omelet then. It is one of the best things. Egg foo young. And I'm not talking the green onions. I'm talking onions. I have a video on that one. There's two things that make the Chinese omelet different. It's first off, you have onions, but you don't cook them. You don't fry them. You don't make them browned. It's almost like you just cook them enough to make the that oniony taste, to make that sweet. They almost look like translucent or boiled. And then you add a touch of cornstarch to the eggs. And the purpose of that is the cornstarch inside the egg batter allows the eggs to absorb more of the water, because normally when you cook omelets and cook eggs, it removes moisture. And that's when they set. So it keeps moisture in and also pulls moisture from the onion. And then what you end up getting is the juiciest omelet you've ever had. And then it'll have that sweet onion, like hamburger onion taste at the bottom. The way they cook it too is all weird, where it's kind of like you do it in a wok and you end up with, it's almost like bricks where you just kind of keep laying them on top of each other. It has like a totally different texture. It's really fun and it's really good. You guys would be surprised. Oh yeah, there's no crunch on an egg foo young. I mean, almost no mouthfeel to them. Yeah, see, we're talking food. Bring back the videos, yes, sir. Feed the body and the soul. Yeah, and I get it, Nuke. You don't like the onions on your. You like your chives. To be fair, the only reason I don't use chives on my omelets is not because I don't think chives work on omelets. I think they do. It's just that there's nothing else I use chives for. And so I'll buy a bunch of chives. And unless I go hard on omelets for the week, it never lasts. So I'm just like, fuck, whatever. But I've always got green onions. Yeah. All right, looks like it is. What should be a good use to anyway? I got the new Insta360. I brought that with me when I went to visit Clary in Vegas, which if you don't know is awesome. It is a GoPro, but it has a little pill-shaped thing. You can put it in your mouth if you wanted to. A lot of people are hooking them up with their dogs and that, putting them inside of food when they cook and they pour the thing over. It's pretty cool. Yeah. Well, you know my ramen hack? Nuke's talking about chives and ramen. Yeah, it's true. My ramen hack is a Korean hack, and I love it. And you guys won't even agree with it, but it's one of those ones that it sounds so stupid, it actually must work. Kraft Singles. American processed cheese. You put a slice of processed cheese into ramen. Mix it right in there. You're like, what? Cheese? Yeah. Not cheddar. The Singles, the processed stuff. Exactly. Velveeta. I can't explain it. I don't know why it works. I don't know the mechanisms behind it. I don't know who discovered it. But you make it just as you would normally. You just add a slice of cheese to it afterwards. Mix it in there. You're not even going to notice it's there. It doesn't give it a cheesy mouthfeel or texture, but it just adds to the taste. Yeah, it's huge in Korea, and I get it. I totally get it. But that's such, like, I'm surprised the Asian culture even managed to, because they have horrible milk intolerance. They don't like milk at all. They don't even like cheese. Like, I didn't know this. But in China, they have like fermented vegetables, and they eat that, and they think it's great. And I've tried one, and I'm like, oh my god, it's just like, it's inedible. It's like triple salted licorice. I'm not doing it. And then they look, and they're like, yeah, it's the same thing, the same way we look at cheese. It's like, we already don't like milk. We don't have very good lactose tolerance. And then we see you guys like rotting your cheese and then just eating it for fun. So they're like, no. And I'm like, dude, a nice old like blue cheese is awesome. How do you not? Then I realized, I'm like, oh, I get it. Cheese slices aren't cheese. It's mostly vegetable oil. Well, you get the milk ones. You don't get the vegetable oil ones. Oh, dear God. Free gender, $5 super chat. All right, I'm going to read yours, but we'll do the thing. Dude, this guy, out of all my ads, this fucking guy.
So the meme, they're very good. This is really, they've taken it.
True Alpha
Named Ryan Stone.
It says, ask Murphy about the article he wrote, cuckolding his wife. Clear up the cuck article. Clear up the cuck article.
Why are you doing this to me? Why are you doing this to me? Why are you doing this to me?
If I wasn't prepared to literally impoverish his entire bloodline,
I am now concerned for my career.
And I'm still recommending clear up the cuck article.
You know what? Fuck you for bringing this up. Yeah. Fuck you. Heartfelt.
I'm not gonna have those guys back on my channel again. Absolutely not.
Just use a little bit of fucking common sense.
It is just.
That's great. That's you should.
Fuck you.
Sorry, apologies.
Just keep going, dude. One foot in front of the other. Before you know it, this will all be in the rearview mirror. Fuck you.
1 foot in front of the other. One day we'll get through a red morning without a Murphy ad, but that day is not this day. Yeah, anyways, free gender. Speaking of old heads, that fat Brazilian talked to over 25,000 girls, finally slept with he's up to 2,000 now? Good for him. Finally slept with 2,000 of them. What a waste of life and a perfect way to set himself up for alimony payments. Yeah, man. That's the thing. Like, I know of him because he's been very, what do they call it? Like, the shitty comfort tests. But he was never what I would consider, I know it sounds cringe to refer to it this way, but like a big player in the space at all. Like, he never did anything. He was just some random pickup artist who wanted his time in the sun. And so he did hit pieces on everybody. And because Rollo, as sensitive young man as he always is, as soon as somebody's like, Rollo's a Jewish asshole or whatever they call him, he hyper fixates on, he's like, damn it, the flagpole again. This guy with 1,000 YouTube followers has been talking mad shit about me. And I'm like, damn it. It's kind of doing what he wants. I just laugh at him. So I always liked about Rich. Rich had it right. Called him a fat can of smashed assholes or a smashed can of assholes. I don't know if it was the can that was smashed or the assholes that were smashed. But hurt his feelings so bad that the John Anthony guy went and lost like 50 pounds that year. Just, you called me fat. Look at this. It's like, hey, good for you. And I'm like, hey, Rich, even your haters are improving their lives because of you. And he's like, yep, I'm that good. But yeah, this guy, I still laugh because, like, where's he now? Where's anybody now? I mean, technically, where am I now? But where is anybody? Does anybody watch John Anthony Lifestyle? Nobody cares. Does anybody watch 33 Secrets? Is George Bruno pulling in? Heck, there's like real people, like real YouTubers, real like celebrities doing podcasts and that now. And they're pulling in the same numbers as me. Oh, that sucks for you guys. You're like, well, I'm famous. Like, well, no, you're not. Trust me, you're not. I'm not. Velveeta plus ramen plus paprika. Yeah, I mean, if you're going to do it on your own, for sure. They show up on Reels on YouTube once a year. Yeah. And I'm not even doing this to shit on the guy. I am, but I'm not. That's not the reason. It's just, you can only make it so far by calling everybody else out. I'll call them out. I never understood that anyway. It's that conspiracy. It's like conspiracy theories, but it's not a conspiracy because nobody cares. Okay, yeah, like you call out Rollo Tomasi. And what do you call out on him? Oh, his hair is dyed or whatever crappy reasons they do it. Oh, he did this. He's a jerk this. And let's say that's true. And let's say it's all true and you call it out. They have this idea like it's Watergate. As soon as the audience knows the truth, they will leave him in droves and they will love me for it. And it's like, this ain't the 1960s, dude. That's not how it works anymore. You could call out, what is Jake Paul fixed is it Jake Paul or Logan? Whichever one fought Tyson. Rigged the match. Tyson was feeling kind of under. He's like, Tyson, he's like 60, and I think he has cerebral palsy or something like that coming up. Like, he's not doing well. Like, come on in the ring, we'll do it. You'll earn like $10 million. And he's like, all right. And even in that state, he like just fucking around. Look at just a quick jab to Paul. Paul like clinches. He's like, dude, don't ever do that. I'm dying here. But here's the thing. Everybody knows now. It was rigged. It was fixed. Everybody thought it'd be like Tyson knocking him out. And they got all the hype and all that stuff. And nothing. Nobody cares. The Epstein. Everybody thinks as soon as we get that list, as soon as we find out who was diddling kids, that's it, man. House of Cards. You could release the Epstein list. That doesn't exist, by the way. And you're silly for even thinking it exists. And nothing's on there. And it's already been public anyway. So why do you even care? Well, they could release that whole thing. And you could find out, oh my God, what the hell? The Clintons are corrupt. Now we have proof. That'll fix it. And then nothing will happen. So yeah, these call out videos, and I get the entertainment of it. I just don't understand it. It's such a, and that's it. Once you're there, all right, called him out. It's awesome. Even if it nuked me or it nuked Rollo or what was the other one? He went after Justin Waller by talking to his mom where she got to talk mad shit about him. By the way, if you're on a podcast, don't talk shit about your kids for 2 hours. Like, keep that shit internal. Keep that in-house. Kyle, $5 super chat. Another 5 for Dr. Glover. He's in the Lincoln chair era. Oh, yeah, I heard about this. Apparently, Glover has a one-sided open marriage now, which sucks. It was like finding out that Robert Greene wasn't actually a Machiavellian mastermind. He was just some nerd in a chair, and you're like, damn it. But you know what they say, the cobbler has the worst shoes. I found this podcast called The Commercial Break, and they have episodes of different PUAs from the convention that should not be named and just clown these guys. Oh, man. Yeah, it's kind of fun. I fell for the Mark Carney on the island AI photos. He probably was, too. Even though those photos are fake, it doesn't mean he wasn't there. But doesn't matter. He literally stole an election, and they're not even ashamed about it. They don't even care. The stuff is so obvious. It's like, yeah, they're lying to you. You know they're lying to you. They know you're lying to you, yet you're still lying. It's kind of where we're at. And I know maybe it's my little jaded despondency, but it's just like, everybody's a lying piece of shit. Okay. Calling them out. We're going to fight for justice. No, you're not. No, you're not. And this is like a well-meaning guy. You do it on guys that aren't well-meaning, like the actual liberal globalist overlords, the Hillary Clintons of the world. They're just going to, like, if you manage to do something, they're just going to find a way for you to suicide yourself in the back of the chest. You know what I mean? But yeah, you have to have something. You have to have something. And this is one thing I'm surprised more content creators don't know, is that there has to be something about you other than shaking your ass on Instagram. There just does. Heck, that was the whole reason I started writing. Because I'm like, yeah, dude, me sitting here just rambling about Glover is not going to be enough. Rollo, same thing. I mean, Rollo's always had something about him. He has the Rational Male, the Godfather of the Red Pill, the first 3 guys, the original R's, the 3 R's, like all that stuff. So there's something there, and you have to. Because eventually the drama kind of goes away, and then you're left with, well, I got to do something. Anyways, too much rambling. Hey, speaking of the devil.
Boom, what's up, fam? Got some big news to share that unfortunately is not so good, so I'm going to jump right into it. You're going to watch this video, and you're going to cry. At least we can laugh at your eyes as you cry looking in the corner like a little girl in the fetal position.
It's crazy how simple they were back in the day, man. Makes me laugh. Rollo's my whole pipeline to Ryan. I mean, that was everybody's pipeline here. It's always the Rich Rollo Ryan pipeline. It's a classic, absolute classic. And I always appreciate it. That's the one thing too that gets me, is there's no appreciation anymore. Like, look, Rollo and I could have personal beef, and it still wouldn't matter. Like, business wise, the people that like his content tend to like mine. The people who like my content tend to like his. Why would I burn that? I'm still amazed. Zach Small, which you guys probably still don't know, and another where are they? The best thing that he ever did was introduce me to Anthony Johnson. Fuck that Rollo guy. And I was like, why would you do that? You're only here because of him. And I'm not saying you owe him fidelity for the rest of your life, but like, it just, if you're going to leave, just leave quiet. You know, you don't have to go away angry. Just go away. Makes me laugh. Still gorgeous because he wears it well. He's so Greek. Oh, you mean Glover? Yeah, he's all right. Or not Glover, Green. And then the thing I don't like about all this stuff, I get it draws attention, but it really did distract from the main point of it. Because, like, you don't need to sell this hard. If you're in a marriage and your wife's not doing it for you, it sells itself. If you're single and you don't know what to do with your life, this shit sells itself too. You don't have to make shit up. Yet here we are. Everybody made shit up. I guess it's because reading is hard. Which, judging by book sales this month, you're not wrong. Not wrong. Although I guess it is summer. I mean, you shouldn't expect summer. Like, hey, it's summer. Get in there and start reading a bunch of nonfiction books about improving your... It's like, yeah, that's a tall ask. That's a tall ask. MLD John comes talking about shit about you and Rollo, and I don't get it. I don't think he is. I mean, maybe he is, but... He's kind of always had that Barnum and Bailey wrestling promo shit about it, so... I wouldn't worry about it. Plus, I don't think keeps talking. I think it happened once, and everybody won't shut up about it. Ryan was my pipeline to Ryan. That's funny. I reverse engineered Rollo to Red Morning to Cappy. Yeah, dude, Cappy. I mean, the one thing I like about Cappy, it's been, 14 years, and he's still, like, the same message, the economics, work for a living, accounting. He's never strayed from it, which I kind of aspire to that. I think we're there. I mean, let's face it. How long have I been talking about covert contracts? It's the simplest concept, but it bears such fruit. Whether you're single, whether you're in a relationship. Just don't do things with expectations of reciprocity, like hidden expectations of reciprocity, because then what's going to happen is the other person's not going to fulfill them, and you're going to have a really shitty time. You're going to build a cycle of resentment, and that's how every emotionally unstable person acts. Every time it's because they were expecting something and they didn't get it. They thought they were owed, but the other person either didn't know or didn't care. And what's the only answer people have for that outside of the red pill? Well, they should have. Yeah. We should have free ice cream every day, but we're not. We're not getting free ice cream every day. So you're just going to have to live your life under the assumption that you're going to have to buy your own goddamn ice cream. You know? Dark Knight Dev, $10 super chat. Thank you very much, sir. I went to a barbecue festival last week talking to competitors about smokers and cooking chicken. Thinking about buying an expensive smoker so I can compete. Gotta work on my brisket though. I would be careful about thinking I'm gonna buy an expensive smoker, because that's an old way of thinking. This is aside from the red pill, but it's something I've noticed. It used to be the case that there was 3 tiers to things. There was cheap stuff, and the cheap stuff got the job done, but there was always something that made it a pain in the ass. And then you would buy stuff, and it would have the more money you spent, the better off it was, and to a certain point. And then after that point is luxury goods. And luxury goods are where you pay like an exorbitant amount for something because nobody else can have it. But it still works as well as everything else. Like, purses. You can buy your cheap Walmart purse. Yeah, it's a purse. It works, but it cracks and it breaks. You can buy your Coach purses, which is nice. A couple $100, or Fossil watch, same thing. And then you have your Omega watches. You have your Rolex, and you have your Louis Vuitton and your Louboutin shoes and the luxury stuff. Increasingly what has happened is everybody's decided to brand now. Companies have all been branding. So when you buy cheap shit, you're getting the cheap shit. When you pay more money and buy the better stuff, you're still getting the cheap shit, just branded. Oh, it's Disney brand shit. Oh, that's good. And then the luxury brands increasingly are also going to the same cheap shit. The best of the cheap shit, but it's still cheap shit. Build your Louis Vuitton purses in China. Take them to France. They put the sticker "Made of France" on. Constructed in France. It was just the sticker that they put on was the only part they constructed. And that's where we are now. And that's what I'm finding is that it's like there's no metric you can use to find out what is good and what is not. You have to touch it. You have to use it. You have to see it. And the problem is everything is online purchasing now. So you don't have that option either. All you have now is word of mouth. Somebody has to use something, articulate why they like it, because I like it's not good enough. 500 assholes on Yelp don't tell you anything. And they could be bought and paid for, and the influencers are bought and paid for. So it's really a case of just like, there's no signal right now for quality anywhere. Yeah, but Craftsman Tools is a perfect example. They were the best of quality. They would last a lifetime. But they've been riding that thing, and they've been cheaping out on their tools now. And now nobody uses Craftsman tools unless they're old Craftsman tools. It's almost at the point where you have to pick the product, like the older stuff, that's survivorship bias, in order to have a guarantee of quality. I just don't get it. And cotton. What happened to cotton? Did you just run out of cotton? Like, I know we've solved slavery like 100 years ago. We were still getting cotton. Just saying. Yeah, so for that, honestly, the best thing I've seen for it, and I don't have any vouch because I haven't eaten the barbecue that came from it, for a guy who used his smoker, is he had just 2 of the normal pit barbecues. He had a pit barbecue on the bottom, and he put some aluminum ducting, like some HVAC ducting, from the one to the other. And the one barbecue would cook the wood and smoke. And then the smoke would go up the HVACs into the second barbecue and smoke the stuff inside of that barbecue at whatever cooking temperature he was using. It was pretty brilliant. But then again, you can always go with the egg, I guess. Everybody keeps talking about the egg, and it's the Craftsman tools of it, and it might be good, but I would probably buy a first-generation egg, because once they needed to make more money... Same as Stanley. Stanley did the same thing. Stanley cups have been a century of like high quality. Everybody had them. Then they went viral, and they had to triple sales out of nowhere, and so they started making cheap Stanleys just to get them out the door. And now Stanley's done. I have a Traeger and a Mahi, better brisket than barbecue restaurants. Interesting. You know what's funny? We don't really have brisket in Canada. I don't think I've had brisket when I went down to the States, but I've never had brisket up here. There might be a good brisket place too, but I guarantee you they're good in Canada. They're not good in good. Yeah, 4K YouTube reviews like that boot guy who saw his shoes in half in every episode, but everybody watching it turns autistic. Yeah, I've seen that guy. I actually knew exactly what channel you're talking about, where he cuts all the boots in half. He was talking about the one video of his, I actually kind of liked. He was talking about the swamp boot, the one for the military that the army used in Vietnam, and why it was good, and what they got rid of on it, and why they should have put it back, which is nice. But you don't want to be one of those guys too that's like, oh, I can't buy this because it doesn't have, and you pick like the most insignificant detail that doesn't matter, but it's like status wise amongst the, Vietnam boot aficionados, which there's like 7. I'm the best of these 7 guys, and like, who fucking cares? So like, even the people trying to help, try a smoked chuck roast. Oh, I'd love smoked meat, don't get me wrong. It's just there's not many places here. There was one restaurant by the dog park that opened up. It's a dog-friendly restaurant, and it's not bad. I had the fish and chips, though. So brisket taco sounds good. Is brisket delicate enough that it won't get broken up in a taco? Because that was always my issue with beef in tacos. Is because of the tendon, there's always a chew to it. And trying to pull it apart, you end up just like flopping your taco out. So you always have to cut it like ground beef small, I find. Smoked mushrooms and any cheese, taters, face masks, anything smoked. It's common in Alberta, but Alberta brisket probably has nothing on actual Texas brisket. I mean, there's nothing about the climate of Texas that requires that for brisket. I don't think Alberta couldn't make a good brisket if they wanted to. But that's the thing. The only brisket place in Alberta I know about was this guy who he was still doing deliveries during COVID for his. Like, you'd come in, grab your brisket, leave. And the cops came and shut him down, and it started like a huge shit show in Canada about medical tyranny. He's moved to the States now. He lives in Arizona or Texas now. So the best brisket in Alberta left Alberta. And that's technically the Canadian dream, is to be talented enough that you never have to live in Canada. Yeah, that's the guy's name, Terry Black. That was it. I was following him on Twitter there for a bit. We were mutuals briefly, but then he kind of just left. He's like, this social media is dumb. Yeah, brisket's shit meat, but smoking it breaks it down, makes it tender so you could shred it. Yeah, no, that part I get. That's why they always say poverty cooking is where the best flavor tends to come from. And yeah, it's because brisket was a sinewy, tendon-heavy piece of meat that when you slow cook it, it breaks that stuff down and it makes it more tender. But I know it's not pulled pork tender or pulled like shredded meat tender. So if it's not that tender, there's always a chance that when you bite into it, it pulls away. I don't know. I'd have to try it. I could be just thinking stupid. Yeah, Alberta's best brisket left Alberta. Sounds about right. Dude, we're so screwed. We're so screwed. It's fun. Like, I'm grateful that, like, I'm not tied to this economy as much as other people. I don't know how other people are surviving, and I really don't. They just had a bunch of layoffs. 5 of the top companies in Canada that aren't banks just announced like massive amounts of layoffs, got like no press. And it's so funny because their excuses are just like, we're spending more than we earn, so you gotta go, fellas. And I already know how this is gonna work. Every high earning Canadian is gonna get fired, and every low earning new Canadian is gonna get hired, and the cycle continues. Because we just had 8 million new, or 1,800,000 new people just come in. They need to work. Yeah, Cappy laughed his ass off at the 9,000 HR layoffs by IBM. Yeah, I'm just... I don't know. I think there's a 2008 crisis going to come, or if it's not here already. But the difference is news media doesn't seem to... Like, if they don't mention it, does it happen? So we're going to have all of the pain of 2008, but none of the headline press. I don't know what kind of dynamic that's going to create, but it's going to be absolutely awesome. Yeah, it's cow chest. That's why you have to smoke it for at least an hour per pound. Oh, okay. Yeah. So what he's talking about here with the brisket being the chest of the cow is with meat, generally speaking, the more use a muscle gets, the tighter and harder it is to use on things. That's why pork belly is so tender, because they don't generally do sit-ups. Like hindquarters, backs tend to be very tough meat. Belly, side, flank tends to be very tender meat. The cheek is tender as shit. It's amazing that Canadians just appear out of nowhere. That's a lot of hockey players. Yeah, dude. You guys are getting a bunch more. Peterson's down there bringing the whole clan. You're going to love it. Canada is going to have 2008 over 15 years after the fact. Harper didn't dodge it. He pushed it back. Well, oh boy. All right, so we're doing a little bit of like history, political history. It's not that he dodged it. It's that he spread out the pain over time. I might get some of the details wrong, but the broad strokes I'll get right. During the 2008 crisis, there was a few things we had going for us. One, we hobbled our banks by saying they couldn't do the investment and commercial banking together, so they didn't have an ability to do subprime loans. And then when that crisis happened, our banks ended up being stronger, started advancing internationally. It was really good for us. The other thing we did was, so everybody was just doing quantitative easing. We did something similar. I just can't remember the name of the thing right now. God damn it. You know what? I'm going to stutter my way through that one so much. I'm just going to say he did some policies, put them into place, and the idea is they were temporary in order to help us against the shock of the 2008 worldwide crisis and our export-based economy. The idea was those were supposed to expire by 2015. The idea being, well, you'll vote Harper in, he'll keep this thing going, but you put in Trudeau, and then Trudeau's like, yeah, keep this gravy train going, buddies. And so that temporary thing ended up becoming a long-term thing, and then that long-term thing has caused current-term pain. You talk about the Epstein files, get ready for the Destiny files. If convicted or lose the civil, he will take names and drop them like a hot potato. I don't care. It's just Destiny. I like shitting on the guy because it's so easy, and it's like cheap and easy fun. But and I kind of feel bad. Like his kid won't even talk to him, and he had to sleep with Lauren Southern. But sometimes just watching shitty things happen to bad people, and it's just like I don't even feel good. It's great, justice served. I don't feel bad, like pity. I'm just like, meh. Commercial's over. What's next? Dark Knight here. Do you use baking soda to tenderize meat? No, but I know what you're doing. Technically, I don't know if it would be as effective. Because if you guys don't know, the pH level matters for beans, for example. When you're cooking beans from scratch, you soak them in water and then you boil them. And water's natural pH is like 3, I think. But whatever it is, the outside case of the beans, it's and vegetables all have this. It's a 2-case cellular wall. Meat only has a single cellular wall to it. And that's why, so when you salt things with meat, it goes directly into the meat, draws the moisture out. When you do it to vegetables, you have to soften the outside first. And that's why you soak things overnight. But if you use baking soda, it tends to break down the cellulose and the cellular wall in the external one, which is how you get mushier beans, but they're faster to cook. And if you use acid like vinegar, it tends to give it a harder shell, makes it take longer to cook. I don't know if that transfers over using baking soda, which lowers the pH, by the way. I don't know if that would transfer over to meat, and if so, how good of an effect that would be. Having said that, the Chinese do often use their marinating, tenderizing flavor profile is sugar. It's almost like a brine. Sugar, salt, MSG, soy sauce, and then they use that as their brine. So, I don't know. Cuck Smurf is one of your top 5 names for someone. Yeah, Cuck Smurf. It's the blue hair. It's like, come on, bro. Like, he knows. You're not stupid. You know exactly what the blue hair symbolizes, and you went there anyway. So it's like, you don't get mad at me. You're the one that did the branding. Stop calling my Coca-Cola Coca-Cola. It's like, oh, fuck you, man. I'll do what I want. I use baking soda to make cevape. I don't even know what cevape is. A bit fluffy. It's called velveting. Epizole and black beans. Yeah, well, yeah. Oh, I guess, actually, you know what? A lot of people don't know this. So if you don't know what he's talking about, there's epizole. If you've ever gone to a Mexican grocery store, they have it. It's like it's an herb. It almost looks like oregano, but it's called epizole. And you always add that when you cook beans because, like, I don't know what the whole bean flatulence link is. I don't know the chemistry behind it. But epizole supposedly is the only thing in the Mexican films forever. It's like that's what you add to it in order to reduce the after effects. Interesting. I do a light rinse of vinegar on meat before coating it in olive oil and using spices. Yeah, so if you're just doing like a light rinse, it's probably not going to have a big effect anyway. Epstein-Zole. But yeah, if you were to cook and you were to increase the pH to it, it should toughen things up a bit, which you generally don't want in food. I mean, sometimes you do. I know for eggs, when you're poaching eggs, a lot of people add a touch of vinegar to their water, which I've done too. And that allows the egg to set a little harder and keeps its shape better. But that's one of the few times I've heard adding acid improving the texture of your food. For the most time, people want to tenderize it, and so usually add bases. Let the beans soak in water overnight, no farts. Well, that's helpful too, right? So there's like 2 parts to it. When you soak the beans, the idea is they absorb a bunch of water from the night before, and then a lot of the, I don't even want to say impurities, but the water-soluble parts of the bean end up bleeding out. And then that's why when you rinse the water out, especially with black beans, you always notice the water's all colored in that. Getting rid of that reduces some of the insoluble, the non-digestible sugars. It's kind of like how milk has lactose, you can't digest it. Beans have a certain sugar to them too. You're not really good at digesting it, and that's what creates the flatulence. Baking soda is the secret of Chinese restaurant for tender meat, which is true, but they also slice theirs a lot thinner in order to get the tenderness. So like that's what I'm wondering is it doesn't have a large penetration power into like a brisket, so I don't know if it would have the same effect. I could be wrong. Like I said, it's one of those things you'd have to try out, and I just haven't had the wherewithal to practice that. Have you or your girl made menudo? How did it turn out? I'm not sure. Let me check. Menudo, eh? A Filipino stew and a Mexican soup. Oh, wait. What's the Mexican soup? Mole de panza, Mexican soup made with cow's stomach. Oh, she's not making me tripe soup. Are you crazy? She's a vegan. Red chili base. No, we've had tortilla soup, but not this. To be fair, I just haven't been a big tripe guy. Like all of the organ, I'm not organ meat guy in general. I like having them as a supplement, like a little bit of liver on it. Like liver and onions I haven't had in forever, but liver's the one exception. But most organ meats, I'm like, I can see you adding a sprinkle into a dish, but I could not eat a dish of that. I got the 1977 Canadian Legion Women's Cookbook. There are so many old school gems, like a chapter on jelly molds. Holy shit. 1977 Legion. Dude. Hey, speaking of which, the Legion is one of like the great Canadian failure stories out there. It's such a amazing story that nobody really knows. Like the Legion was for World War I vets. When they got home, and they had nowhere to talk about this stuff, so they made their own private club. Motorcycle clubs, same thing, but the Legion. And then World War II and the World War II vets came in and kept the Legion going. And then the Korean War happened. And for the Canadians that went over there, when they came back, a lot of the World War II vets said, you guys aren't real veterans. And they were ostracized from the group. Like, they weren't banned from showing up, but they were treated really poorly, so they showed up much less. And again, in the 70s, all those conflicts, same thing. You're not real soldiers either. Went all the way through to Afghanistan. And by the time you get to like Afghanistan and the 90s and Canadian War, Canadian soldiers just weren't joining the Legion. They were just like, fuck you. They'll show up on a Remembrance Day to talk with an old vet, but that's it. And so the Legion was like, well, if we have no numbers, what are we going to do? So they started introducing the wives of veterans. And eventually it was at the point where it's like, yeah, non-veterans can join. People that supported the military can join. And then people who weren't even in the military started running the Legion. And now the Legion is a civilian organization. It's stolen valor as an organization. And it's such like the Canadian success story. Yeah. What is the Venn diagram of cooking, the Navy, and action movies overlap to? Just me, man. Literally just me. I don't know how to explain it. I had the right mix of like nerd creative sensibilities and like hardcore macho blue collar. Nobody else does it. Nobody. And that's why this audience is always so small. Like Tigger, there's only one. Dad bought me heart, kidney, and tongue from our local ranch. I eat it plain, put it in his chili and soup. Awfully good. You like it? See, I don't like kidney. And I've heard it might be because I'm not preparing it properly, but I couldn't. Tongue, my mom was a fan of it. I didn't like it either. It was too, I don't like the smooth muscles. Like heart and kidney, or heart and tongue. Wasn't for me. But it's fine. I mean, there's nothing wrong with eating it. It's not for me. Horse meat too. Tried that. I'm like, no. It's not even that like horses are people. Like horses have names and that. It's just horse meat is horrible, man. It's like beef, but gamier. Zero fat. It's like, yeah, if it is to beef, like what rabbit would be to beef. That makes sense. Ishan Varna, how should I learn storytelling, especially for screenwriting? Well, here, and that's what this is what the subject of today's show was going to talk about. We got distracted by Bean cooking an epizole and John Anthony. So that's on me. Me said camel meat. Camel meat is disgusting. Oh, it's rough. It stinks. Camels are the nastiest animals on earth. I don't know if you guys have ever smelled one, but they're just, and I know why they smell horrid. They smell horrid, so nothing else tries to eat them. It's like the best protective thing ever. Oh, the only reason I could see you wanting to eat one is because they're almost as bad as donkeys for stubbornness. So like, yeah, for spite, a camel fucked with you as a kid and you grow up and you eat them. Like I can see that, but you don't want to eat camel. It's never going to be a delicacy. Kangaroo you can get around with, but not camel. Camels eat cactuses. Wild. Yeah. Yeah, bison I didn't mind. Boar I didn't like at all. Yeah, see, I don't mind bison and boar, but I do know like they're extremely gamey. So like I can only imagine, because you know how liver is like a gamey version of whatever animal you're eating. I can only imagine what a bison or like moose liver would taste like. Like I could almost assume there's enough vitamin A in that to poison you. But yeah, the meat, it's good. It's an acquired taste, and once you understand the taste of gaminess, you get it. You get it. Yeah, we got accustomed. At first, my cutting board looked like a crime scene. Oh yeah, don't they ever? Back to the storytelling. That's kind of what the episode was going to talk about. I actually had an old video. You guys are talking about how you like the mids watches and the cooking videos. There was another series on there which doesn't get a lot of attention, but it was kind of like the precursor to Midge. It was called Relationship Breakdowns. And right around the same time that show was on, I was doing the original Red Pill Coffees, and there was one about being a better storyteller. Being a better storyteller as a means of being more attractive. Ugh. Excuse me. Let's make fun of that little feminist.
We know that these videos really prey on vulnerable young men who have not had many experiences in dating.
about telling better stories. And a lot of it was just like from the pickup side of things. It was one of the parts I got fairly good with, but I also had like a lot of help because I have a lot of good storytellers that were raised around me. Like, if you've ever had that friend who always is telling you guys what happened last weekend, that guy's a storyteller. You hear your buddy at work, the one who's always got the great, exciting story of something that happened. And sometimes it's just nothing, but he just tells it so well. One question at a time, Ishan. If you want more questions or priority, super chat away, man. East Coast Sitter from the 90s Euros. Yeah, because, and there was a great example, too, in, like, I'm not going to say what or where, but it was in our Substack, which was, the guy was talking about telling a story about things he was noticing, the difference between this girl and that girl and other stuff, and it was a good story. So, for better stories, you just really need a few things. Like, first off, you got to think, what's the point of the story? What's the reader looking to get to it? What are you trying to communicate? For seduction stories, like, you know, anecdotes, breaking the ice, talking to other people, the idea is you want to have displays of higher value. You're communicating status to the other person. But it's not as easy as just talking about how awesome you are, because then people assume you're making it up. It sounds socially uncalibrated, and it has a negative effect. That's why guys talking about how great their job is and shit never do well. Displays of higher value, they have to be subtle. Telling a story and making it almost incidental to the story. Like, it's a detail and it matters, because I'm like telling the details. Why wouldn't you want to get the details right? Anyways, yeah. So the supermodels were there, but like, she spilled coffee all over my pants, and then I had to deal with this pants situation and some like crazy story about how you had coffee on your pants, you had to get them off of that. Completely glossing over the supermodel that was hanging up beside you and spilled it on you. But that's what the other person hears in their head. It's like, oh, okay, so you understand the kind of lifestyle he lives, the kind of people he hangs around with, what the caliber of women he's with, that sort of thing. That's what a DHV is. And this is not pickup specific. This is everywhere. You've seen me tell stories constantly on this channel. And I don't make an effort to put DHVs in there, but you kind of will find them anyway. Like when I tell the story about my girl jackhammering and retelling the floors, that's like a very specific DHV. My girl's useful, right? And you hear that. It's subconscious, but you hear it and you learn to put two and two together and you make certain assumptions about me. And the better you are at stories, the more control you have over how you're perceived. But at the same time, you can't be so hyper fixated on how you're perceived that you turn your life into a carefully curated project. Because then that comes across as too try hard. You're a sweat, and you don't want to be a sweat. So it's a line, and it just shows the fact that you understand that there's a line, you know where you are on that line, and you can move back and forth around it as you see fit. And that's where the social awareness comes from. Wow, this guy's good. He can come across as really bragging one minute, then very humble and charming the next, but the next minute he's an asshole, but now he's sweet. And it shows. I know exactly where the line is. Nobody crisscrosses this line so many times without knowing that's where the line is, right? And there's classic storytelling, you know, have a character, has a problem, solves a problem, becomes a better person. And I still love Vonnegut's, Kurt Vonnegut has a little lecture on the 6 types of stories. He goes, every story that exists, there's 6 types. What's he call them? Like man in a hole, starts up somewhere good, bad things happen, overcomes bad things, moves on with his life better off than when he started. There was Cinderella, which was like, starts in a low place, gets to a high place, drops to a low place, but better than he was, and then improves and gets better. And then Hamlet, he called it Shakespeare, which was just truth, which was everything was just like mildly annoying across the whole thing. There's man in a hole. Oh, then the rise and fall, like, you know, rags to riches. Bam, bam, and then back to rags. But better off learning from it. It's really neat. And you kind of think, but you don't really need all these anyway. What you really just need to do is practice. And it's one of those things, as you start telling more stories. And it's, have a friend at the water cooler. How was the weekend? Try and explain the weekend as a story. You keep it short. You keep the guy's attention span on there. You understand when you're drifting. And it's not like people don't give you feedback. They totally do. If you're telling a story and you're losing people, you'll see it in their eyes. They'll start looking around. Is there something else I can do right now? Anywhere but listen to this story. Where they kind of have like the nod, like the, come on, finish it up. And then you see those cues, and then can you adjust your story on the fly? That's another skill. You're dragging, people start giving you the, are you dragging look? And then, all right, anyways, and you do that, you can snap somebody, and it's like, oh, okay, good, we're past that part, thank God. I admire your girl. She's made an art form of industrial disease. Jeez. Simplest strategy, just start telling something you genuinely found amusing so long as it involves people and not autistic hobbies. Yeah. That's really it. It has to involve people. You can tell stories that involve autistic hobbies, but it has to have a person, like a person element to it. The other person has to be able to put themselves in the situation. And you can, like my one buddy, he's the inspiration of the character Jason in The Dog Walker. He was one of those. Every story he would tell, and everything was just hyper realistic. Like, yeah, we did those things, but like the pain was just, oh my God, it's the worst pain you've ever had. Or if it was this, it was the worst. And it was always like the bad stuff was the worst you ever had. Everything was bad. Everything was wrong. Everything was insane. Like, here, I'll tell you one of his stories. Technically it's my story because I was there for part of it. But we're sitting at the bar and we're just walking in, doing our thing and whatever. And he's drunk and I'm drunk. And we're just, it's like our third bar. We were bar hopping and some chick yells at him. Oh my God. Jumps on him like a turtle. He's like 6'3", by the way. He's a big man. Jumps on him like a turtle. And he's drunk, so he has no balance. Bam! Falls flat on his back. Or no, falls forward onto her. That was it. He didn't fall on his back. He fell on her back. It was just so funny. So we look over, and she's like just this tiny little 5-foot girl. So you see her legs and arms just like flailing out on the other side, him just drunken on the floor. And I'm just standing there. And then the girl's friend's standing there. We're just looking at each other, just like, what the fuck? Hi. We don't know. I don't know who she is. Jay doesn't know either of these people. Nobody knows anybody, except for the one girl who remembers him. And he's like, oh, sorry about that. And we pick everybody up. It's like, what the hell happened there? And he goes, yeah, you don't remember me, do you? He's like, I don't know. Why do I remember you? And then she had mentioned that on a certain weekend, he was like, dropped his pants for everybody at the party and got him to sign his ass. And she's like, I was the one that signed your ass. And then you see this like moment where he's like, oh my God, I get it. And he's like, I was just sitting in the shower one day after the bar and I looked down. I'm like, what the fuck? And it was one of those moments. It just made me laugh. It's like something he had no recollection of that was absolutely hilarious. The other person, it cheered up their life so much that it caused like its own, like the fact, like I'll never get that image out of my head of him falling on her like a blue shell in Mario Kart, arms flailing out either side, a bunch of squeaking around. And it's in like the middle of the bar on the sticky ass dance floor too, right? To where she basically had to tell him it. And I was like, oh, I just love stuff like that. But he would have like hundreds of those stories. Every weekend he'd have a new one of those stories. Heck, even when we were sailing, he'd have those stories. Like he used to get arrested and thrown in the drunk tank in every foreign port. And he'd always got into fights. He's not a fighting guy. He's just big. So a lot of people like fucking with him. And so he'd always come back to the ship, either with a black eye and a story about how he beat 2 people up that he didn't want to fight. Or he showed up at the ship noon the next day with the officer of the day looking pissed off because he got thrown into the drunk tank. And so that was always our joke when we were out. It's like, is he in the drunk tank yet? He's been arrested yet? Is he in a fight yet? Nope. And he's always with us and he's happy-go-lucky, but then it's like just he'll wander off for 1 second, 3 minutes later, then come back. It's like, guys, we gotta go. So part of it's having an interesting life too, right? Like you got to do interesting things. You can't be afraid of consequence. And obviously the trick to that one is understanding the consequence. And if the consequence isn't bad, then yeah, throw caution to the wind. But if it's going to be, oh, I'm going to storm the thing in January 6th. Yeah, consequences there, pretty obviously bad. Don't break in to a federal building. If anything, those dudes in Oregon should have taught you that. Now, if he was smart... Like I was at the trucker convoy for a bit. I didn't film any of it. So I'm like, the last thing I need is somebody knocking on my door. It's like, hey, all that evidence you gave us, can we have a talk? Like, fuck that. Mugshot or get the fuck out. And that's fine. You don't have to believe the stories. You don't have to. It's not a requirement. You can think I'm full of shit, and that's fine too. It's your business. But that's the thing. if I get mad, it's like that dude who was yelling at me yesterday because I didn't think he was a real officer because he sounded like a moron. Turns out he was, which kind of should have tipped me off he was a real officer. But yeah, how you act when somebody thinks your story's full of shit kind of makes all the difference. Because if you start getting mad because you're supposed to like my story, it's a good story and it really happened, and how dare you call me a liar? Now it's some weird identity thing, complete loss of frame, socially uncalibrated. It was very, very easy to get to you, and that's why you don't want to make shit up either. Because then when you get called on it, you spurg out. But it's kind of like, well, whatever. I thought it was real when I was there, and it's fine. You don't have to believe it. Just very dismissive about it. But there's like so much to this, and I could talk about it for years. And there's going to be people in the chat who do it better than me, and they're going to say, "Bro, no," and they'll have their own reasons for why I'm wrong on this, or they want to do something else different. But in reality, it really is a case of, yeah, there's some rules, but they get broken all the time, and it's really just something that you have to put in the reps for. And start small. I've seen people who try to do stories, and it turns out they're boring, and their stories ramble on, and they don't know what they're talking about, and they kind of have to and ah, and you lose the audience right away. So if that's the case, just tell a short story. Very short. Keep it small. What's the smallest? Like a, hey, how you doing walking down the street? You know that one? You're walking, they're walking. Hey, how you doing? If you can fit a story in to that 10 feet here, you do like that quick turn, and then like where you slowly walk away as you're turning. Like if you can fit a story into that moment, I think you'd be good. Most people aren't good at that one. It drives me nuts. Nothing pisses me off more than when you're doing that. Like somebody you know from the building or whatever. It's like, hey, how's it going? And you get to here, and then you do the turn and the slow back away, and then you realize, fuck, they timed this story all wrong. And so now you have to stop. You take a step forward, but you kind of still lean back, so you're letting them know it's like, I'm still walking to a thing. Finish up, bud. But politely, right? And they keep going, and so then fuck, heaven forbid you have to get to the point where it's like, awesome, look, I have to go. It was good seeing you. Like if I have to pull that, so annoying. And it's not even like, fuck you. It's just like, come on, man, work with me here. We see each other all the time. Work with me here. Finish the story in the elevator. That's the other one, the elevator. In an elevator with a person, telling a story. Imagine that too, because when they beep in their elevator floor, you have to know how to finish up your story in 2 seconds because they have to get out of the elevator or the elevator is going to shut on them. And then when the elevator shuts, the story's over regardless. So you got to learn, how can I wrap this up in 5 minutes? It's like little things like that. And it's just, there's no replacement for getting in reps. There just isn't. I watched a video on using cadence during speeches or presentations. Is this something you could use? Oh, of course it is. Of course it is. How you tell it is more important than what you're telling, in my opinion. And there's some basics to that. Like if you want to talk about, is it Simon Lancaster? I think it's Simon Lancaster. Anyway, he's probably got what I would say is my go-to read on speech writing. And some of the stuff is really simple. Like the one obvious one that always comes to mind is the rule of threes. People love things in threes. So when you're telling a story, you tell it to them in 3 parts. You know, this is what I'm going to tell you. And then I'm telling you. And then this is what I told you. 3 parts. You'd think it was obvious, but no. You'd think it was intuitive, but no. What it actually is practiced. 3 parts. See that? It has a flow to it. And you can break the rule. You can just do 2s, you can do 4s, but you have to kind of know the rule to break it. And sometimes it's about setting the user expectations. You know, I've told you once, I've told you twice. And you're expecting that 3rd, but you kind of just drift off on it. And so in that way, it's almost like jazz music where you like set up tension, you break tension. You set people up with expectations, you give them a payoff in expectations, you withhold the payoff of expectations and give it later. It's fun. I don't know how people don't. And I'm not a social guy at all. I'm an introvert. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying this is like life of the party stuff. You will, if you're an introvert, you will tire yourself out on it. You will be at a party for 2 hours, and about an hour in, you just go into the bathroom, not because you have to take a shit or anything, but just because you're like, I just want to sit here, and you turn the lights off, and you're just like, oh, just give me a minute. Just give me a minute. And then you get back out to the party, you're like, hey! Go back up again. My girl used to hate that, man. I'd have like a party at my place because I was the one closest to the base, so all the friends would come to my place and I had all the nice furniture. And they'd come hang. There'd be like 12 people in my place. My girl would wonder where I went. She goes and looks. I'm in the bedroom. Lights are all out. I got like SimCity 4 on my laptop. I'm like, she's like, get out here. You got friends. Entertain them. I'm like, just give me a minute. Give me a minute. I gotta recharge. Yeah, come on, dog. Can't be doing 2s and 4s. You do what you like. YouTube is my mild Twitter salsa. Well, this shit's made in New York City. Oh, dude, yeah, Sluggo here. That's just a good example. Not spurging out when called on an uncomfortable topic is so important to commit to muscle memory. You have to keep that theme for the $5 super chats for as long as you keep this channel. Oh, God, yeah. I love it because it's such a relatable one. The ability to make somebody lose their fucking mind on just like a small offhand comment. It's a skill. I am deceptively good at it. Deceptively good at it. It doesn't work. Like, the only reason it exists is to entertain you and bored people at an event. It's not good social lubricant. It's not good to get promoted at work, but be damned if I don't like it. Yeah, and just so many things. Like, the internet, it's not difficult. It's consistent. It's kind of how I talked about like doing content creation. I've worked hard jobs, hauling irrigation lines, bucking trees, digging ditches, hauling lines, military stuff, farming stuff. I've done it all. Corporate stuff. It is the easiest out of all the jobs. By far. The big difference I found is you have to be here. You have to be here 100%. Like, I could be hungover and go to work at any of those places. And it'll suck, but I'll get through it. I can't be hungover and do a live stream. You just can't. So you have to bring your whole ass here. Get a rope. Well, hauling lines for the military. I used to work in a job where button pushing like that was useful. Contractors, etc. find the button, set them off, and they start blabbering the truth. Oh, that's good to know then. If you're dealing with a vendor and you just want to get them off. To be fair, my only like vendor trick, we had a company when I was working in finance. There was a company, I think they were Dutch, Norwegian, something up there anyway. And there was a person on their team that I just couldn't stand. He was an idiot. He didn't know what he was doing. He never returned calls, never did stuff like this. So the developers came one day in like a big all-time meeting. I just took them out to lunch and I bought them a couple drinks. And then I just kind of like, prodded until eventually it's like, yeah, we fucking hate the guy too. He's the cousin of the guy who owns the company. He has to be in the front. He always sends us the wrong information. It turns out he was fucking up both sides of the equation. It's like, oh, that's good to know. Well, like, hey, why don't we just, like, look, I'll CC him into things, but I'll just email you guys directly. And they're like, oh, that would actually probably save us some effort. But we had to do it in such a way as to have everybody save face. Now, I probably could have just embarrassed the guy at the thing, but then he would have told everybody that the contract isn't worth it. Probably cost us, whatever. So, bazinga. Fucking guy. Button pushing. I don't know, man. I don't know how anybody can do those George Jetson jobs. It's such a... Like, it kills you, man. It really does. I know everybody's like, but it's such an easy job in an air-conditioned room. It's like, you have no idea how demoralizing it is pushing that rock up the hill every day just to have it fall down in the morning. Do you ever wonder why people get, like, drug drinking, deaths of despair, alcohol problems? They get caught at... Like, dude, how monotonous and soul-draining does your job have to be before you pick up your HR manager and take her to a Coldplay concert? You know? You guys don't know the story? Some dude got caught on 4K cheating on his wife with his company's head HR on the kiss cam at a Coldplay concert. Coldplay is ruining marriages. He was the main character on the internet there for an entire day, and the company fired him and fired her. Pretty sucked. But yeah, it was just kind of... How do you get there? You get there by a button-pushing job. Sisyphus, man. You have to imagine Sisyphus got drunk. Meh. Anyway. It's amazing how we've managed to completely get off the topic that I was coming here for, the storytelling, and then we got into cooking, and now we're on to laughing at idiots. But I mean, what else can you do but laugh at idiots? I quit posting on my mains because it was some Better Homes and Gartham shit. Oh, jeez, God. Dear God. Should have read Dread. Yeah. I mean, all the people should. To be fair, so they've been both out long enough now that I've had chances to reflect on them. And part of me is thinking, because Frame is, to date, it's the best out of all my books as far as sales go. People want Frame more than anything. And I'm wondering if the creative choices I made with Dread are preventing it from finding a wider audience. Because, to be fair, like the comic style art, the big like Dread, it might not be the most communicative one to people who aren't familiar with the Red Pill, which ultimately will limit its growth to just that venue. But again, I'd have to look at it with like jargon-free eyes. If I knew nothing about the Red Pill and I started looking at this, would that even be a book that they would be able to manage? A guy who just only knows Facebook, right? What kind of cover would communicate that better? It's something that's kind of been mulling over, and it might just be it does its job well, and that's just the market for it. But it makes you wonder. Maybe this question for the Orion channel, but now that they're taking the first steps, I think they should have bought back Lone Gut. What? The hell's Lone Gruffled? I don't know what that is. I would assume everybody who buys Volume 2 starts with Volume 1. I would assume so, but you never know. And if that's the case, then yeah, that's just sequelitis. Everybody knows that. Like, every movie will have a sequel, and the sequel almost never does as good as the original one. The American Ninja movies, first movie did like $100 million out of a $10 million, or no, $2 million budget. And then every movie since had like 20% less revenue until you got to like American Ninja 5, Electric Boogaloo, and it like made no money. And so they stopped with the American, sorry, Dudikoff, you're fired, dude. Lone Gruffled. I don't know who that is. All right, fine, I'm going to look it up. You got to remember too, when you guys do things that I'm not aware of, my first instinct is to assume you're fucking with me. So, oh, the guy who played Captain whatever on Fantastic Four. He was such a generic looking man too. Fantastic Four. Why would you watch Cape shit in 2025? Really? Look, Marvel was really good until Avengers Endgame. They had a system, they milked it for all it was worth, and now everybody's doing a cash grab. It is the same thing we had with Westerns. If you guys don't remember, the 50s was like the golden age of Westerns, and everybody's like, these things are great. And then in the 50s and 60s, the Westerns started to turn to shit, and they just started like, just put a gun on it and put this slop out there. Everybody started hating Westerns. And eventually the spaghetti Western came out as like a satire of the entire genre, which ended up being a whole new genre. It's kind of like RoboCop, how they made like a satire of all of the themes in there, but they were so good at it, it made its own genre. And that's where like the 80s action flick kind of had its renaissance. But yeah, funny how you mentioned the Coldplay affair, couple, because if they never would have had a bad reaction, they likely would have never went viral. Actually, that is true. Alpha AK, $5 1 cent super chat. My God, I never even thought about that. Yeah. If the Coldplay couple just stopped and froze, deer in the headlights, didn't say a thing, didn't move, didn't act embarrassed, nobody would have cared. And what are the odds that his wife is like, loves watching Coldplay footage? I love watching random TikToks from Coldplay. Like, it would never happen. Oh man. So it's almost worth having like a $5 super chat moment for that. Yeah. If the CEO of whatever, I don't even know what the company is, but yeah, if the Coldplay couple, if they had just took the $5 super chat and explained the cuck article, everything would have been fine. How do you not love that stuff, man? RoboCop ripped off Inspector Gadget. I get what you're saying, and you're not wrong. But yeah, it's definitely a funky. To be fair, I might steal that framing. You like Inspector Gadget? Well, this guy ripped off everything. CEO of Astronomer. Yeah, I still don't know what that was. His real crime was liking Coldplay. I had to explain that because somebody's like, I've never listened to Coldplay. What are they? And the best explanation I could come up with was, think Radiohead if the presidents of the USA did all their songwriting. And I think that's about as close as I can get to a Coldplay reference. But then I was also thinking like U2 for millennials might have been a good one too. Inspector Gadget's a ripoff of Pink Panther, which is true. And then Pink Panther wasn't that more of a satire of it was like the goofy version of Sherlock Holmes then, wasn't it? There's a whole lot of stuff there. Anyways, let's do another ad. Let's have some fun. Actually, you know what? I haven't made fun of Clary in forever.
You're 45 and you can't shut up? You're the most mature one, but I saw your nipples and now we gotta worry about that. You're a criminal justice major, right? You're gonna bail out all these girls' sons right this time. You actually have a job. Long ago, she was a stripper. Okay. She put herself through college, law school doing that, became a lawyer now.
If I'm gonna get in trouble on table, I wanna fucking hear why.
By that time, it's already tainted like this.
That is the most on-brand shit I've ever heard in my life.
Why would my son date you?
I don't want your.
That's probably one of my favorite parts of that thing is just everybody's talking about Clary's fictional kids. It's like, I don't want your kid that doesn't exist. It's kind of... And I thought those chicks were drunk. I was talking with the boys after, like, no, they're not drunk. That's just what they're like. They just act drunk all the time. Bless them, man. Bless them with their high cheekbones and their thin figures, because, Jesus Christ, they're not carrying the conversation. Why would my son date? I don't want your son. Coldplay is what a boring dad listens to and hope that his daughter's friends will be attracted to him. That's not a bad one, actually. It's not bad at all. You need a public service announcement about drinking water for Clary. Yeah, that would be pretty good. To be fair, I've been trying to get inspired for more ads. Nothing's really grabbing me lately. That's why I'm planning on not an extended break, but like an extended break. You guys probably won't notice anything because, I mean, I'll slow down on the Orion videos instead of every week having the 2. It might be 2 every 2, like 1 every week, or like one on Sunday, one on the next Sunday. But yeah, I think it's summer. I think I got to enjoy. These books will have 3 months of doing their own thing, so let them do it. Just Rockwell and James Spader are the same height. Coincidence? I think not. Yeah, honestly, I miss the gaming streams too. But I mean, you don't want to sit there and just watch me phoning it in either. Like I'm trying to enjoy gaming and carve out some time for streams. I'm not feeling it lately. I think Tekken 8 broke me. If you guys haven't seen, oh my God, there's so much. The T on Tekken 8, it is being referred to as the biggest gaming rug pull in history. 30 years that franchise has been going, and everybody just turned on it. If you guys don't know, Tekken is like one of the few 3D fighting games, fights in 3 dimensions. Its big claim to fame, it was always a 7-dimensional version of rock, paper, scissors. Tons of legacy information you had to know. It's huge. It's the equivalent of trying to learn Japanese. Not how, memorize. That's like the saying. It's like that. And then for Tekken 8, what they did, because they got a huge amount of attention on Tekken 7, the changes they made to it were to make it more accessible to the casual user. They wanted to steal Street Fighter 6 people. The problem is they overtuned everything. And the game always had a rule where everything has counterplay. It doesn't matter what you do in the game, there is something somebody else can do to counter it. Sometimes it's movement, sometimes it's ducking, sometimes it's like breaking things on reaction, and they're extremely tough, but there was always something you could do. Or it was negative, so you could attack it on block. There's always something. But then they started making things that weren't. There was nothing you could do. And somebody was noticing at one point somebody would launch him in a combo. Like, they flip him up in the air and then you hit him a bunch before he falls back down again. It was like 20 seconds. And he's like, dude, the round's 60 seconds. I had a third of this match where I'm just not in control of my character, watching another guy ballerina dance on my nuts. It's fucking ridiculous. And then they'll do something else, a heat mechanism they put in there, which is, again, everything was so plus all the time that for another 20 seconds, all you could just do was sit there and block. And it's not just sit there and block, but you were actively punished for sitting there and blocking. But if you tried to move, you just get blown up. So it was just like, people were so frustrated with it, they just left. They stopped. And then the community manager started blocking everybody who had some critiques, like, hey, this could be fixed. He's like, fuck out of here. And yeah, and now it's at the point, like, if you go look it up right now, Tekken 8, the most popular videos that just came out are like, fuck this game. Every one of them. It's insane. And then Minecraft, it's getting hard to, like, newer updates, and it's just, they've expanded it to the point where it's like, it's hard to get back into it, and it's Minecraft, you'll get back in, but whatever. Yeah, all these chicks in these podcasts seem so insufferable that it's a gag, or it's like they're just doing it to stand out on purpose or get more clout. I used to think that. I did, because I'm cynical. Every time I see somebody doing something stupid, I assume they're doing it to, like, mug on the audience. But no. I went there, I talked to Mike, I talked to Rollo, I talked to Clary, talked to one of the girls. I was like, no, that's just them. That's them. That's my concern, is that all of these man on the street talking to whammon things, that's just them. And those girls have always existed. So that's the one thing I will give you guys that leaves you with some hope. There has been bitchy, ornery, uncharismatic, all that kind of stuff has always been there. The difference is, where it used to be like 1 out of 5 girls like that, but every one of those 1 out of 5 girls is on the internet being blasted in your face as a giant demoralization thing. I don't think it's as rampant as you think. I don't think OnlyFans is as popular as you think. Yeah, I get it. 3 million content creators on OnlyFans. I don't think it's a case where, like, every girl you know is on OnlyFans, but every girl on OnlyFans will make sure you know who she is. But again, in like the 90s, the 80s, the 70s, the 2000s, it was the same thing. It's just everybody knew who the slutty chicks were in their social circle or in their small town or in the club. It's just now all of those people, instead of slutting it up in ways that would have been 80s appropriate, you know, just blowing a guy in the back in an alleyway, they have an OnlyFans account. And most of them aren't even making money, which is the part that blows my mind. Dude, if you're going to whore yourself out for the clout, like, do it. None of this, I can't make rent with my shoving a bottle up my cooch money. At that point, that's just shitty. That's why I'm leaving the manosphere. Why I've left OnlyFans. Because you guys, what do you want from me? Girls were always bad. Do you know why young girls are bad, Kyle? Because young girls don't give a fuck. And they don't have to. If you're young and you're attractive, you don't have to give a fuck. And everybody will put up with it. And I get it. And they've always been bad. We could argue, like, are they worse? Are they better? Actually, I'm pretty convinced that the scale has been slid. Because most people are just fat now too, right? If everybody was thin, the shitty girls wouldn't stand out nearly as much. Because there's all these thin, pleasant women. But that's the problem. You get the mix of fatter people and shittier people and normal people getting drowned out in the thing. Plus the online social media. Dude, 1 out of 1 million. There is 350 of those people in the States. I can show you that 1 in a million retard every day and not run out of people for a year. Think about that. How do you think that affects your brain and how you process the world? Daily content, unique people, 1 in a million type of retardedness. Every day. You're seeing that now. Yeah, Apex fallacy, they always bring up the 5 chicks making millions, never the ones who work real jobs and stream as a side hustle. Absolutely. Plus, I noticed Paul's been doing that thing too, where it's 80% of OnlyFans subscribers are dissatisfied married men. I don't know if it's true. Like I said, I'm always very distrusting of statistics. But it does make me wonder. And then how much of this isn't even some degradation of the West? How much of this is just prostitutes have now found their Patreon. If chicks are prostitute anyway, and then she finds OnlyFans to allow her to make her prostitution scalable, why wouldn't she? Maybe, and again, I don't know if this is true, maybe it's the case that every chick that's on OnlyFans was already prostituting herself elsewhere, and this is just her marketing funnel, and it's more effective than Instagram. Maybe. And with the rise of Ozempic-like products, how long till we're all thin? I'm still not, like, everybody keeps saying, it's like, look, it's been years, man. Nothing's gone wrong. And I don't know. I think it's because I was alive for Fen-Phen. I'm just not trusting. I don't get it. If you guys don't remember, Fen-Phen used to be Ozempic. I think it came out in the 90s. And they're like, that's it. Fen-Phen will do it. I think it was just ended up being meth, or some meth derivative. Anyways, people were getting heart attacks. And they're like, all right, we're taking Fen-Phen off the market. I know Ozempic's going to have their moment. But we'll have to see. Lipozene is the one I remember. Dude, I don't remember Lipozene. But hey, maybe I'm wrong. Who knows? In the end, it's the same thing as like the red pill stuff. And that's why I talk to you guys a lot about the meta of it as well as the nuts and bolts. As long as... Because while you're getting into it, the meta is such a great lesson. It's like Jordan Peterson. Everybody's like, oh, clean your room, wash your penis, whatever. I'm like, yeah, well, watching him, his familial situation, the way he's acted with his job prospects, cashing out, the diazepams, there's so much to learn from that. And even in the red pill space, tons to learn from that. I even did a Substack on it, where it was the dark secrets they don't tell you about the red pill. I even grabbed like an AI version of my face, like the ones they would do on like Atlantic articles about how Boy Scouts are fascist or whatever. I'm like, I did one of those. I was so proud of myself. But yeah, it's taught you everything. People that were like genuine and interested and self-interested, like your Wine More Pleases, your Chest Rockwells, your Myselfs, your me's. You have the ones that were just there to win internet points, like your Gaylou Boyles, your Illimitable Mans, and whatever. And then over time, you see the ones that kind of filter themselves out by doing very stupid things. The ones that filtered themselves out by, they just wanted to be the coolest, like the biggest fish in the small pond, but they just pushed back against any growth. And you saw where that ended up. Then you saw like sociopaths come in, take over the space, take as little of it as possible to market as much as they could to make fortunes. And now we're kind of at that point where it's all dead. It's like a dead niche. Van Halen, little niche band, became worldwide famous, and then they fired fired David Lee Roth and hired the other guy and made a clear Coke or clear Pepsi commercial. Now Van Halen is shit. And then at some point, they're going to hire David Lee Roth back, and the band will go back together and start doing some cool hits again. At some point, the red pill's going to be there. I don't know when. I don't know who's going to lead it and what it's going to do. Maybe it's Jack. Maybe it's Nuke. Maybe Pearl. Maybe Pearl finally... And I'm not even shit-talking her because I haven't seen much from her at all lately. But, like, maybe she gets her shit together, gets into the books. She finds some new angle, some new way to make this thing new and invigorating. And good for her for doing it. And then it becomes, like, this own resurgence. It'd be awesome. It's kind of like the opposite of what Stefan Molyneux did when he finally went back to Twitter. He went back to Twitter and everybody was expecting this wise sage. I'm back with the fucking tablets on the Mont, man. Instead, what's he do? He comes back. It's like, yeah, let's talk shit about fucking feminists again. Like, oh, dude, it's not 2016 anymore. Seen a girl yesterday who fits the OnlyFans stereotype look, and her boyish-looking girlfriend was filming her with my woman's breastfeeding in the background, and I couldn't help but think, Jesus Christ, dude. Were they aware that your wife was breastfeeding in the background? And they're like, oh, dude, this would be great as a backdrop. I don't know, man. Having said that, that's why I'm just surprised more people don't bottle feed out in public. I guess if you can't, you can't. Whatever. Yeah, dispensed mass qualities of Fen-Phen, the divorce medicine. That's the other thing. All I could do was make eye contact and let them know what they were doing. Oh, yeah, last thing you want to be is like some girl gets viral TikTok trend for, I was filming my OnlyFans video and this dude started getting in my face. That would be a viral moment if you start chimping out on the camera. Don't do that. Don't do that. Anyways, I guess if I had to give us anything to walk away from this from, it's, yeah, there's going to be a lot of crazy stuff. And is it the world getting crazier, or is it that the crazy is getting filmed? Predominantly, I think it's the case of we are being exposed to the crazy, but it's obviously a case of, as a feedback loop, it's going to cause a little more crazy to happen as well. Same thing as after Columbine, a lot of people wore trench coats, shut up schools for a bit. What can you really do about it? Well, the first thing is just understand the nature of outrage marketing. Like I said, a 1 in a million type of retard out there, I can show you a new one every day for a year and not run out of people. And that's just America. There's tons that come in from Europe and Canada and Australia, and even India's starting to come with their own tard clips now and stuff. So yeah, you're going to see individual examples to show you how shitty everything is every day for a year, and you're never going to see anything different, and it's going to fuck with your head. So you just have to keep that in the back of your mind. And this is why it's always, and I get the whole touch grass, it's very cliched, but yeah, there's at a point where just going to a Starbucks and opening the person beside you in some like chat in the lineup, or talk to somebody in the elevator, tell a story, little things like that will kind of keep you, I don't even want to say grounded, but just calibrate your perception of reality so that the online space doesn't infest you with hyper reality, which is a very weird, pedantic way of putting it, but you get what I'm saying. I hope you get what I'm saying. Can't believe you guys let Pearl stay. I can't let Pearl do anything. That's the other thing. You guys keep thinking that there's some like red-pilled boys club that we let people in and out. There's nothing I can do. Tomorrow, some Anita Sarkeesian could start being the red pill content creator, get a whole bunch of USAID funding if they still do that, and become more popular than anybody. And there's not a damn thing we can do about that. She can use all the terms she wants to, and it does not matter. Nuke and Jack are going to pick up the torch. God, I hope so. Lots of creators are leaning too hard on the rage bait. The new Bloods are focusing on mental models and self-improvement, which is where it needs to be. But aren't you the de facto leader of Rule Zero? There's no leader of Rule Zero. I think I've got seniority, but the fuck does that matter? I'm the senior fellow of Rule Zero. Like, do you really think I'm the kind of guy who's going to be throwing that out there as if that deserves an attaboy or a back pat? I'd be embarrassed to tell you that. I'm the one guy who quit last. Worship me. Fuck that. No. No, for the most part, and to be fair, like for the most part, Rule Zero's always kind of had a one guiding rule, which was just, if you want to do something, do it. And whoever's there, everybody has a veto. That's it. Try whatever you want. Bring whoever you want. Do whatever you want. Make the topic whatever you want. As long as nobody says no, then just fucking go. And to be fair, that's gotten us through so much stuff. Yeah, you want to bring on Corey Capella, that cokehead, and yeah, come on in, start doing your things. He did a couple shows. We're like, we'll try it out. Like, yeah, this ain't working out, man. I don't think he knows what he's doing. Or Glenn, or there's Myron was there briefly. I think they even put Tate on one. Oh, Missandra Today. Who was that fucking potato head? God damn, I can't remember his name. I don't know. I just remember he was the MGTOW guy. He was supposedly a lawyer and knew everything about everything. And then people doxed him because he was trying to hit on every MGTOW's wife. Which, why do the MGTOWs have wives? I don't fucking know. And he was literally a Down syndrome guy, a general manager at a grocery store. Which, not to demean grocery store work, it's noble work. But it's like, bro. The whole thing was just fucking weird. A lot of guys are starting families and talking shit on Twitter. Oh, well, talking shit on Twitter is that's just a pastime. Everybody knows that. Love of the game. Couch is now the ground poobah of the Water Buffalo Lodge. I don't know how old you are, but I love that that's the reference you picked. It's like a 1950s Flintstones reference. Nobody's going to know what the fuck that means except for like me and Rob Says. Everybody else is Googling, what the fuck is the Water Buffalo thing? It's just Fred Flintstone in a blue hat, dude. It was his version of like the Shriners. Yeah. I don't know where it's from. Yeah, it's that was the lodge that the Flintstones were part of. You had a blue felt hat with like yellow antlers on it. It makes me laugh. But you see what I mean? And so it allows you to have, and look, I'm actually one of the things I'm doing on the pause, I'm going to start reading more. I have been woefully behind on any type of reading. I want to read the book that Kirsten put out. I just did the ad for the Black Moon. I want to read that. I finally want to get around to a lot of the other guys that are like Sphere adjacent. Like I haven't read Savage Spear, The Unicorn by Delicious Tacos. I have not read Worst Boyfriends Ever's book. I have not read Nutcranker from Dan Balton. I have not read who else am I thinking of right now? Oh, Orc City. Why can't I remember the guy? It sucks because now all I can remember is Orc City and I forget the name of the goddamn book. The guy who just went viral 2 weeks ago because somebody made fun of his prose because he was shitting on Metal Gear Solid characters. If you bang bookworms, does that count? No, it does not. It does not count. John A. Douglas. No, I mean, not his name. I mean the book's name. It was like the Black Cauldron or something, but it's not the Black Cauldron. So yeah, and it'll be nice because, and I'm not promising I'll finish each one. I'm going to read it, and if I find I don't like it, like the content or like from technical execution, maybe I don't like the writing, then I'm just going to put it down. That's the one thing I think my girl does. It drives me nuts. If she hates a book, she's like, no, I got to finish it. I'm like, fuck that. And we'll see which ones I get through. And it'll be good. And then Softbone will be out. Dog Walker will hit his year mark. The audiobook will be out. In fact, it might even be out now. I don't know how long it takes. It only takes them like, it used to take like a month for them to get through the submission process. Now it's like 7 to 10 days, which is awesome. So if you guys have always wondered about my big peruse into fiction, but you don't want to read a book, audiobook would be out. You'll love it. You'll fucking love it. Narrated it myself. That's the only other thing. Like I was mulling over that for a while. And I was like, no. I could do voice actors or AI or whatever. But like, I think I like it better when it's just a storyteller telling you a story. So it's one voice. It's going through there. We'll see. Dog Walker, then Softbone. And then in the fall, we're going to have Praxeology, Volume 4, Case Studies, I think is the working title. It's done. It's ready. I just got to design it. I'm not in a rush. And then next year, I'm either going to be doing a sequel or like on the theme of the Dog Walker, or maybe the character Rex still, or I'll be doing a sequel to Softbone, depending. If one of them takes off, obviously doing a sequel for that one. But beyond that, it's going to be, and then I'll write some more short stories, get those out there. Follow me on Substack. The one thing I'm going to leave you with here is when people talk about writing stories and that, you guys think I'm like leaving the red pill. It's not the case. Nick was talking about this. It was pretty good. Is that you learn to tell a story. And then once you can tell a story, you can inject themes into it. And my plan is to tell good stories and inject red pill themes in them. It's not going to be as in your face as like a propaganda thing, or like, it's not going to be as red pilled as Frame or Dread, but the characters, like Dog Walker, for example, the character is a promise keeper. The women he's dealing with, there's game concepts in there. The idea of Archwinger's thing about assume she has a slutty past, just don't obsess. Don't worry about notch count, stuff like that. Focusing on your boundaries. All that stuff. It's all in there. They're all the themes in that, but it doesn't work unless there's a solid story behind it. Now, I think there is. The reader, they can make up their own mind on that one. 1 cent short of a heartfelt. Siege D. Can we see the Dog Walker Rodney Dangerfield ad? Of course we can, sir. It's one of my favorites, to be fair. Is it this one? I think it's this one.
Hi, I'm Kurt Vonnegut. I'm looking for Ryan Stone.
What's that? Fuck me. Hey, Kurt, you read lips. Fuck you!
Newcomers will think Ryan invented Billy as a pejorative term for Spurgs. Oh yeah, that's the other thing. I was talking with Nick about this during one of our strategy sessions. He's like, I don't know, the inside jokes kind of work. It's like, yeah, so like I fit inside jokes into these ones. For people who know the channel, they'll probably see them. Like I think there's like some Pat Stedman jabs in there. It's kind of like rappers when they throw like Eminem lines in to get Eminem to start shit about him. There'll be some shit in there. Yeah, anyways, yeah, thank you very much for the super chat. I got to do more ads for the books, though. I got to get more like stuff out there for promotion, so it's on my list. I almost came on here with a mustache, by the way, guys. And it's nothing to do about nothing, but I saw it. It's starting to gray around the edges a bit, which I don't like. But then I saw it, and my girl's like, she looks at me, she's like, I don't know what look you're trying to go for lately. I'm just like waiting till it's done so I can have a final say, final judgment. And I was like, I don't know yet. I couldn't do the mustache though. Like the way it looked now, it looked too much. I looked too much like a Mexican. Not that there's anything wrong with that. It's just I'm trying to get into the States, and I think, like, oh, I just came here from Canada, right? Whatever, bud. Get in the truck. I'm like, no. Can I send you a manuscript for issue 1 of a comic I'm working on to rip apart? I mean, you can if you want to, but that's the thing. I don't think you want anyone to rip it apart. I tell you what, Viking, we're on the thing. Talk to me offline on this one. I get what you want. You want some kind of like feedback, but the question is what kind of feedback you want. And it's one thing too. When everybody's like, oh, I got a bad review. Like, is it a good bad review or is it a bad review? Because a bad review that articulates what the problem with your book is a valuable, super valuable thing. Is it, spelling mistakes? Is it technical execution? Is it the story wasn't compelling? Is it that they felt thin? Is it that I didn't see the bridge between this and this? Like, it makes no sense. There was no flow. It was a slog to read through, so it was very difficult. But like, all of that feedback offers something to allow you to improve your writing. So like, good 1-star reviews are great. And same thing with this. It's almost better too if you get somebody, like, I'm not a big comic book guy anymore. So if it's like he's showing me a comic book, I'm probably the best guy to look at it because I don't have a love of a specific type of comic to come in there like, dude, I loved this thing that you were inspired from. For me, it would just be like, I look at it on its own merits. And that's the one thing I always talk about on Orion that I wish more people would do. Watch, read, listen to it on its own merits. Watch it for what it is. Not what you want it to be, not what it's inspired by, not what it's doing to those goddamn feminists, not what those red pill dudes think is great, on its own merits. And you'll find the caliber and quality of stuff that you start enjoying gets far better. And look, I don't know how busy your workloads are. I don't know how much free time you have. Maybe you got a new family and you're fucking driven wild. Maybe your work is 20 hours a day digging ditches. I don't know. But when you do have leisure time, I understand it is impossible now because everybody is putting out slop and everybody is just trying to steal your attention. And books are doing that thing now where they try to like rob as much of your attention as possible. Video games are trying to rob your attention as much as possible. They're not even trying to be fun. They're trying to be compulsive. And that's not leisure time. That's just stealing from you. Movies are doing it. Music is doing it. AI is enabling people who do it. TikTok shorts, Instagram reels, all these things, they're all just there to steal time. And so if you can find good leisure time activity that isn't there to waste your time, like at least make you enjoy the time you have. If you're reading a book, if it's 8 hours, the best compliment you can ever have is somebody who's like, yeah, I'd stay up late because I didn't want to put it down. I've heard a couple of people say that about my thing, and it's probably the most, like, that kind of shit's what makes it all worthwhile. And the same thing, it's a comic. It takes 15 minutes to read. Is that 15 minutes better spent on a fucking frappuccino at Starbucks or reading the comic book? If you can't say the comic book, then yeah, there's some work that needs to be done. And that's ideally kind of what I want to go with here. Because like I said, the themes, we've all done all the red pill stuff. That's fine. It's done. At least now we can get to the point where, okay, everybody's in the red pill He-Man Woman Hater Club. Everybody's getting laid. Everybody's happy. Everybody's got frame. Everybody's got their shit together. Everybody's making money. Now what? Well, now you got to think of higher ideals. That's fine. And that's on you. You want to build a cathedral? You want to start a family? Go do it. But there is going to be downtime. You're going to need it. Otherwise, you're just going to burn yourself out. What do we do in that downtime? And I think there is, I don't even want to say a market. I think there is, or there will be, a yearning for people to learn how to have better caliber of leisure time. And that's ideally the direction I'm kind of going in the next little bit. So I wish you all the best. I'll look at the comic. It'll be fun. And Alpha AK $2 super chat will lead us out with, we don't call y'all snow Mexicans for nothing. I think we're snow Venezuelans now. Have you seen our economy? Oh, man. Everybody's losing their job. We're going full UBI. Fuck it. Inflation, boys. Anyways, that's it. Hope you guys enjoy yourselves. Who's doing Rule 0? I think it's Jack. Fuck, I haven't linked to you guys in a while. All right, let me... 2 seconds. We're going to do a redirect to whoever's hosting Rule 0 today. I won't be there. Oh, it is Jack. See, now Jack is good. He turns his on, so it's just one click and it's done. Is Softbone a series or a standalone book? It's set up to be a series. I just haven't done the second or third or fourth books yet. As long as it doesn't do bad. Like if nobody buys it and it dies on the vine, I'm not going to do a sequel. But so long as it, you know, does as good as the Dog Walker, which, to be fair, Dog Walker and Frame are like neck and neck for the best-selling books in my collection. So if Dog Walker keeps up to that, absolutely. Yeah. Anyways, have fun, boys. The Softbone cinematic universe. It's really just our universe plus 10%, man. And to be fair, we got a bunch of new shit that's pretty dystopic. I've had some ideas, and I've left enough threads on there that I have a place to take it. So it'll be good. And I'll probably do a thing on world building at one point, because I fucking hate world building, and I think the lessons I've learned from world building on this one is probably useful to people who like to try to be Tolkien. Anyways, let's get you out of here. Where's my goddamn... Oh, there she is.
'79T 2458 Learning Corp. Little Red Riding Hood. Take one.
"40 years of my life is in the wire that's gone." Does that make sense?
Where they say there are Indian people pooping on our beach.
It's a spool of wire. 40 years of my life is in the wire that's gone.
I forgot to say thank you for your 2 hours before we go.